Welcome to the Data and Chain podcast, where we explore data, AI, and blockchain and how they are shaping our digital future. Join thought leaders, innovators, and industry experts as we explore how these technologies converge to redefine industries, revolutionize business, and inspire a smarter, more connected world. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, professional, or visionary executive, this is your go-to source for actionable strategies and a bold vision of the digital future. This is the Data and Chain podcast from Credulin. Let's dive in.
You're welcome to this second episode of the Data and Chain podcast, where we'll be talking about Web3 and data sovereignty. I have with me here a big boss and high-profile person, as I was saying. Mr. Chuta Chimezie is with us today. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much, Zach. A pleasure joining you on this podcast show. I've been in the industry for a reasonable amount of time. Before getting involved with blockchain technology and AI, I was doing very well as a software developer, focusing majorly on PHP and building web applications. Okay, so I didn't know about blockchain technology 10 years ago, but 10 years ago I was in tech. And as at that time, I was making a research on how better I could use a 3D printing machine that I just acquired 2011 or thereabout. Right. And I just wanted to know how next I could utilize the 3D printer until I stumbled on where Boeing in an article said that they were using blockchain technology to crack the 3D printed parts that they had in their establishment. So I right-clicked the word blockchain, and as I say, the rest is history.
Taking you a bit back, you say you started as a software engineer, and now you got to know about blockchain, which was at least 8 years ago. So what do you think has been the adoption of Web3? And maybe for some of our viewers, I know some of our viewers know about Web3. They say, okay, which one is Web3? Which one is the blockchain? Maybe just do a very brief explanation, as the authority that you are in this field, about Web3 and the adoption so far, maybe in Africa and beyond, and how Africa is leading in this role and shaping it just less.
Okay, so key things to note here is we have Bitcoin, we have blockchain, we have a cryptocurrency, we have Web3. Okay, and all these words are misunderstood or misapplied at different points by different people. But the most important thing you have to understand here is that one gave birth to the other, which is actually is a fact. The good word is a fact because Bitcoin utilized blockchain technology. Yes. And after Bitcoin, we had the Ethereum era, which introduced cryptocurrencies. Because Satoshi Nakamoto did not call Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Do you understand? He called it a peer-to-peer payment network. And it utilized blockchain technology for storing data on a distributed ledger. Even in the Satoshi Nakamoto, he did not use the word blockchain, but he made mention of blocks of data being changed together, where the last block is tied to the first block, and continues like that. So it's important that a lot of people understand and clearly get the difference between all of those. Okay. Web3 is something that came up on top of blockchain technology, which is the rebuilding of services and products in a decentralized environment. Because the first generation and second generation of the internet created monopolies. And for the question that you asked, and how is it affecting Africa? I think Africa is one of the jurisdictions of the world that will benefit from this technology more than almost other technologies, because we don't have much of what we call infrastructure. So systems. So that word leapfrogging, which a lot of people use, is really interesting to understand, because we don't have trust. That's why we didn't have structures. Do you understand? We didn't have that trust with the government, trust with the people, trust with the establishment and all that. So blockchain technology brings us the opportunity to rebuild those systems utilizing a trustless technology.
Looking at Africa's markets, Africa as you, I know when we're outside of Africa, they refer to Africa like as it is a country, right? But it's a big continent with so many countries, and these are individual markets. They are fragmented, they are not integrated, and all of that. But one of the trends we have seen recently is because Africa seems to be a lot mobile friendly or mobile first, right? It makes it easy for people to transit into that blockchain space. Now, when we now talk about data, when we talk about data sovereignty, how does Africa's approach to data sovereignty differ from that of other regions? And what lessons can we learn from global examples? When it comes to data sovereignty, Web3, digital identity, and all of that, all of those things.
In terms of data sovereignty, Africa still has a lot of catch-ups to do, because here you are talking about infrastructure that is used in managing large data. If you see most of our organizations, businesses, even small and medium scale companies, they have their web hosting partners, data centers, either in the US, in Australia, or in different parts of Western world, because building a reliable data infrastructure in Africa, you still have to grapple with a whole lot of issues like stable electricity, quality and stable internet. These are things that enable you to provide data storage environment. Yes, in Nigeria we have a couple of data centers, and for me, even though we're not where we are supposed to be today, I'm positive about what could happen tomorrow, because the signs are already there that we're beginning to realize that there's need to build these infrastructure.
So I want to connect it to something you had said earlier about decentralization, and it's about data ownership. You talked about monopoly because of the first and second wave of the internet. That's wave 1 and wave 2, as you say it. A lot of monopoly. See the big tech of this world, right? How they control how your data is used, and this is your own activity, your digital footprints on the internet. Now there is Web3 that is bringing a lot of promise. What role do you think cryptography plays? I know when people hear cryptocurrency, they just think it's one investing and cash out, but they don't even understand there is technology that is powering that. One blockchain, and of course there's a cryptography. But what role does cryptography play in maybe data ownership, decentralized, where I know people talk about Web3 that you can own your data, all of those things like that.
Whenever you move information across networks, those information are susceptible to being intercepted by people. That's what we call the man-in-the-middle kind of malware that people can use in trapping or tracking information that you're passing. But the technologies that we are using in cryptocurrency, which is a cryptographic technology, is a technology that, obfuscates, how do this FL word, it just truncates the information in a way that it looks useless in a public and private key pair, such that if you don't have the private key, you will not be able to decipher the information that is being transmitted. And that's really a very important part of technology. Now, if you bring it to something like identity management, for instance, you find out if this sentence plays out such that I could give you my identity information without necessarily revealing other details about general control of your. I have a serious or a significant control of the information I can share. The same way that if I give you my Bitcoin wallet address now, you will not be able to maybe tell my name. You understand? Just from the wallet address. But you will be able to authenticate that I own the wallet address I use in receiving that Bitcoin. Then you also look at document verification, where an issuer and the person that was issued a particular document, let's say in this case, certificate, it can now be verified, because you're verifying that, first of all, the issuer issued it. And secondly, that the issuer, the holder, is the person that the issuer issued it to. So it's really something that will help solve a lot of Africa's problems.
Okay, so looking at it, because you mentioned about certificates, and I'm trying to connect everything. There is AI, the deepfakes, the AI is causing a lot of issues for creatives now, where it's learning a lot of data, is get all the artworks that somebody has spent a lot of years working on, it is learning it. And I some time back, I think that was 2023, I wrote an article, and I think I read an article, you wrote something around that, something similar, where my own thought is, I think cryptography can be a solution for what AI is causing, where every digital work that will be a creative person, there will be music or visual arts or whatever it is. Now, there can be maybe a cryptographic certificate. I've not really thought through it, but this is just an idea. And because it is created by that person, no matter the duplicate an AI wants to do, as long as it can be verified, maybe with cryptography, people will know that, okay, this artwork was actually done by an human being because there's a certificate. You talked about certificate. So do you want to weigh in on that before we go to the main question? I'll just shoot up.
Okay. So the intersection of AI and blockchain is a very interesting topic.
Yes.
Because whereas AI has the potential to run and accomplish a lot, is like owning a dog, but the dog is out of control. So it could bite the owner, yes, or it could bite the neighbor or the child of the owner. So the leash that AI needs is actually blockchain.
It's like the technology. Yeah, like,
you understand? Because that's what's going to create some type of control. And I believe that as the years keep going, I just completed a course on a pathway to AI engineering course. And one of the things I learned in that course is that you could actually bring in some type of regulation within the way the AI functions. Recently, I tried to see if an AI can give me a seed phrase of a particular wallet that I was, I got the wallet phrases, but some of them were not clear.
great.
So I wanted to use AI to see if I could get the rest of those words, because probably these are 5-letter words. And I wanted the AI to crack out the possible 5-letter words that could have been there. But the moment I mentioned seed phrase in it, the AI objected to
Okay, so there's
go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I want to go to more of a finance perspective, real world assets, tokenization, DeFi, the opportunities that exist in it. There's been a lot of talk about real world assets, deeping, decentralized. What are the opportunities? For example, tokenization of real world asset now. There's a very big asset people want to invest in. They have small money, but they can tokenize it. Some of these things sound like matrix or binaries to some people, right? So what is that all about? Especially for you, for the average person out there.
Okay, so tokenization is basically the concept of splitting an asset digitally, more like fractionalizing. So you break them into little bits such that each of the bits can have an ID and it can be assigned to someone on a decentralized network. Its application is huge. For instance, currently there are a whole lot of businesses and startups that are building tokenized real assets, real estate. So they are tokenizing building, they are tokenizing lands.
Yeah.
You could tokenize practically everything. You could tokenize a business. You could tokenize debt. Can tokenize debt. I mean, a country could be owing. Let's say the US is owing it has a $4 trillion debt. They could tokenize it, and that tokenized debt can be bought by people with a promise of return in 5 years, 10 years, and thereabout. You could tokenize contracts. You understand? So the application is really huge. So it's still early, as we know today, seeing how businesses and startups are building in that direction. Then you come into finance, and we are already seeing the miracle of decentralized finance, which brings financial services close to people. I mean, when you say the unbanked, you talk about people, even though they have bank accounts. Having bank account doesn't mean that you are banking. You understand? Until you are able to do more with your bank account.
Frequency.
Access to loan,
Yeah.
access to some type of credit scores by the use of your account and all that. All those things are really valued that we don't capture most times. I mean, you could have a bank and be a loyal customer in a bank for 20 years, but never would the bank give you a credit score or give you a loan or give you an opportunity to utilize that number of years to have something else done for you. So decentralized finance is already breaking those borders and making it possible for people to use whatever they have as collateral. Okay, you can also look at how people are building infrastructures, and decentralizing them. That's deepening, So you could, I mean, where we are now is block space technology. We could provide opportunity for people to build in on what we already have by probably running servers, which is one of the things I intend to do here, to provide opportunity for us to host different blockchain protocols within our facility here, and people can buy into that and earn money.
There's an argument, there's the centralized exchanges, decentralized exchange, Uniswap, and this one, and the Binance. Do you think stablecoin has anything to do with DeFi, or it's just maybe the lower hanging fruits of the journey we are going to the proper DeFi? And some people say stablecoin is still USDT, is still USDT. That we are not. There's just that argument. So this is just to weigh on what you have said before I go to the next question. Let me get your own.
Okay. The one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that the traditional banking apps that we use, they are not digital in the real sense of the word. They are analog because they depend on values that are inputted on ledger. Do you understand? These are values that are manually inputted on ledger. And when I say manually, it doesn't mean that they use biro to write it, but as long as you're going to sit down and type something in and the value takes on life,
Yes.
It's manual. That's completely different from when you are creating a digital asset on a blockchain. You birth the asset digitally on a blockchain, and all the history of that money begins as you create that asset. Okay, so that's one of the things that makes digital assets on blockchain different from government-issued fiat currencies. You can tell how many Bitcoin exists.
Yes.
You can tell how many of XYZ token. There's circulating supply,
Yes.
and there is total supply. So you can actually look at all those things and be sure of what they are. Now, when you bring in stablecoin, you are bringing a version of that national issued currency to be birthed on the blockchain. So it takes its life as a stable coin on the blockchain. And it's easier for that stable coin to integrate and flow and function because of the character of the asset
It's stable.
in the digital world. It's amazing. You could use stable coin. Let's take an example of CNGN, which is a Nigeria's regulated stable coin that was issued. You could write a smart contract right now and utilize CNGN in the contract, whereas one is digitally birthed and lives on the blockchain. The other one is birthed by a central bank in a private blockchain environment. And there's a lot of regulation and privacy issue associated with that.
Controls.
Controls. It's not as though you could interact with CNGN or any stablecoin without some kind of KYC. But that KYC is not in the government control. Do you understand? Yeah, so the regulators will regulate the exchanges that issue the stable coins, and they will only report to the authorities. You understand? And there are a rule of terms and conditions that user has to sign for you to be able to pass their information to a third party, and that includes government. Of course, government, in the case of things like investigation, can order through a court to request that you provide that information, But until then, you are relatively safer using a stable coin than a CBDC.
So the next question I want to ask around regulation and DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. So DAOs are a concept powered by blockchain because they are decentralized. It's a form of government. I think I read an article that he wrote around network states, something around that, how DAOs can power that. Then, do you think so? I want you to talk about DAOs and how it is challenging the current state of government that we have. Then, do you think DAOs having their own form of regulation will submit or can be controlled by the current centralized government that we have today?
Yeah, very interesting topic that a lot of people don't want to really have. That conversation is really had by a whole lot of intelligent people out there because they're not paying attention to the progressive nature of technology. Let me tell you one thing. Every nation on earth today has failed. As far as the original intent of the founding fathers of all those nations are concerned, all of these nations on earth have all deviated from those original founding fathers' ideals. And what happens when people have eroded from their foundation? Even the Bible said that when a foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? So naturally, a new system will step in to take over. We'll let all of that. Yes, there'll be a trust. There'll be a trust. So we let all of that when we're doing Karl Marx, and if you read about Karl Marx and political systems, the thesis and antithesis and the collusion and something else coming out of that. We are using technology to do the same thing right now. And that's where decentralized autonomous organizations will come in. People are tired of failed government. These are peculiar times. So if you ask me, it's sign of a failed state. So the former CTO of Coinbase, a technologist, wrote a book, The Network State. You should look for that book and read. There's a free PDF online you could read. Now, the concept there is that this technology, this Web3, this blockchain technology is birthing a new type of nationhood that we're already beginning to see it. So in a smaller form, it is decentralized autonomous organizations where people have their organizations. Decentralized autonomous organizations functions probably the same way nations function. And what it means is that people can have their constitutions, they can have their elected delegates, they can have the mode of making decisions, and they can have treasury. And they can vote on how that treasury will be used. Do you understand? And people can work for that organization and aim. So it's huge. And we're already seeing that happening already. We have South Africa DAO, we have other kinds of DAOs that are already out there that are doing those things. So what is bringing into the mix is bringing us the opportunity to redefine our nation vote. So my prediction is that in the next 10 years, this technology would have matured, and you will see that people can be citizens of a different country, even though they are geographically located in a different area. Do you understand? Because this failure of nationhood that we are seeing today will even get worse, and it will eventually collapse. And out of it, they will see that it's decentralized autonomous organizations that are thriving. Because if you are working in a DAO or you are part of a DAO and your life is just going on well, and every other person who is not in that DAO, his life is going in the other direction. After some time, people are going to be asking you, how are you doing it? So you're going to invite them into your DAO or tell them that, look, there are different kinds of countries. Okay, so it's still a process that we are still going to be seeing how it plays out.
Okay, so I think this will be the last maybe set of questions around opportunities for people that want to go into this space, or even that are around the edge of this space, and they want what kind of opportunities exist for young professionals, non-tech individuals, whether in the blockchain and AI space, or blockchain separately, or AI, or what opportunities exist in this space, whether as somebody that wants to go into the technical parts or maybe the non-technical parts. So what opportunity can you see?
Okay. So blockchain, technology, AI, Web3, huge opportunity there for anybody. And luckily for us, we're still started. I mean, a few years ago, when I took my first formal training from the University of Nicosia at Cyprus, there were not many people who even understood what blockchain technology was. That was far back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
And as at then, they told us that we have fallen into the 99%, we are falling into the 1% of the global population who knew about the technology. The same thing that I also discovered about AI and AI engineering. Very few people, 1 or 2% of the world's population know what you're talking about. So like every technology, it's important that we learn how to get in early, because that's when you can catch out on the best opportunity. Whether you are a technical person or a non-technical person, there's really no excuse for you to ignore these innovative technologies. You just need to become more intentional about charting the course of your future. Okay? You don't need to saunter through life as though you don't know that you have a responsibility to define what you really want. You don't have to join the majority of people who expect chance to happen to them.
Yeah.
You create the chance.
Yes.
So we have seen ChatGPT from OpenAI. We have seen Cloud AI from Anthropic. We're seeing DeepSeek and many, many other AI tools that are out there that you could sit down with, even to asking this question that you ask me right now. You understand? And you will get very accurate answers, much better than I can provide. So people just have to get their answers out of their comfort zone and begin to use AI tools. If you are not using AI today, you're already at a disadvantage. The same way that if you are not utilizing the blockchain, Web3 technologies to safeguard yourself, you're not utilizing a crypto asset space to like hedge yourself, you're already at a huge disadvantage. So these things will always be there. And if you're waiting until everybody knows about it, it's too late. It is already too late. Okay. So my advice is find a system. Luckily, almost everybody has an Android phone, and your Android phone can download DeepSeek or ChatGPT, and you could use them for free. And you could find out for yourself exactly what you need to do based on your plan for yourself and your future. I was watching one little girl that created a token on pom.phone.
Is it the one of Solana?
Yes. You understand? And this 8-year-old girl created this token. How old is Donald Trump's son? You understand? And look at how interesting the young boy is. That he doesn't feel lost to sit with people like Elon Musk or the president or any of these maybe big companies, maybe Mark Zuckerberg and all those things. You know, that these are a different breed of humans. And there are generation that is coming that will even be far more advanced than them. So in my own opinion, you don't even regulate them, but don't stifle the opportunities that the digital age offers them.
Okay, thank you so much. I think the last question will be in 1 or 2 sentences, a very, very encompassing advice. What can you give to our viewers?
Okay, so what I would say to young people is understand that there's no better time for you to have been born than now. I wish I could take myself maybe like 30 years backwards with the knowledge that I have today.
Well, that's just good.
I know what that will do with my life there. But then, no regrets. But for you, young person watching, you have to understand that the future is just lying in front of you like a bouquet. Just pick what you want. There's no better time or age where you could define your destiny by yourself and actually know what the outcome will look like than this particular time that we're in now. There's a pathway that you follow and you will definitely get to the result that you're aiming at. You understand? So it's easier for you to learn as a young person than for an old person. Okay? So take the opportunity to learn as much as possible. There's so much that you can learn. The body of knowledge is at your fingerprint. See, before now, we used to, ask Google questions for Google to give us answer. And we'll clap for Google for giving us an answer. Do you know what we are clapping for today? We are clapping for people who know how to ask AI tools the best questions. Because it's a reverse now. Yeah. Before, we prided ourselves on the answers that we are getting from Google or search engines. But today, we pride ourselves on the questions we are able to ask. And because the body of knowledge that is available to us now is such that, what do you want?
Information to value.
Do you understand? So it's really very, very interesting, very, very interesting that you could sit down and begin to ask a particular. In fact, what you should be thinking of, that's what prompt engineering comes in. Unfortunately, we didn't talk about that, but that is really part of what this young generation needs to become experts in. Prompt engineering is basically learning how to ask the best questions concerning things to get the best answers. And that's why they aim more than most other professions in the world today. Because establishments and governments and private organizations are employing question askers.
Yes. Are you just good at know how to ask?
People who know how to ask
Preferring the right question.
So they are giving good package. You understand? And you earn a lot of money for asking good questions. Okay, so for me, that's what makes it very interesting. And I don't think any young person should miss the opportunity that this world offers right now. And of course, Chimezie Chuta on all my social media handles. And you can find me on Twitter, Chimezie Chuta, or LinkedIn, Chimezie Chuta, Facebook, Chimezie Chuta.
I'm going to leave you with this phrase. Mentorship gives you depth, community gives you grades. You see what we are doing here is, we are creating content for community. Here's the blockchain Nigeria user group where they talk a lot about all of this. And we also have the credit community where we talk about data, blockchain, and AI. One of the things that helps you to move fast in life is when you're mentored. You don't have to make the mistakes yourself. You learn from the mistakes of other people so you move fast. And community makes it all fall interesting.
Thanks for tuning in to the Data and Chain podcast. Stay connected with us for more insights at the crossroads of data, AI, and blockchain. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and keep exploring the future with us. Until next time, stay curious and keep innovating.